Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I will show you how to create an expert advisor based on a triple moving average concept. So what triple moving average concept is? It's very simple, and I will show you what it is right here in my MT5 platform. So I will open any chart. Let's go for a clean chart without any open positions, as is this one, and let's add some indicators. So as the name suggests or tells you, triple moving average will consist of three moving averages. So let's deploy moving averages here. So let's start with something like 14 here. Let's go for 50 here, and let's go for the last one with the period of 100. Yeah, one more thing, sorry, because my MT5 is in Czech language, so sorry for that. I will try to change that for the future video, but for now let's just stick with the Czech version. The layout of your MT5 will be the same, so just click on the same tab. Yeah, so the third one here, and it should be the same layout. Anyway, let's continue with the triple moving average. So I will also change the visualization of those moving averages so we can differentiate between them more easily. So the first one we can leave like this. The second one, let's change the color to gold, and the third one, let's change the color to, I don't know, something visible. Should be let's go for let's go for, I don't know, sky blue. Yeah, sky blue might be nice. Okay, so we have our three moving averages. So now let's discuss what it tells you. Okay, so as we know, moving average basically gives you an indication of a price momentum on a market. So it basically tells you where the average price goes and how fast it goes. Steeper the line basically means that the current trend in that direction is stronger, let's say. Yeah, so this is basically what moving average tells you. So now what we can do when we use three different moving averages with different periods is that we get a picture of, basically we get better picture of the current price. Yeah, because we analyze the price on three different, let's say, not time frames, but over three different periods. Therefore, it gives us a better picture of it. So how we trade this? It's also very simple. We just wait for the crossovers to happen. So the best example is, for example, in this case. Okay, so if we zoom in right here, you can see that I'll just highlight the area. So just 1 second. Where is it? Here, objects, and let's go for the rectangle. Okay, so if we highlight this area, okay, this is not the best highlighting, but let's go with this. Okay, and I will try to fill in. Okay, I don't know how to fill it. Okay, sorry for this. I am not really skilled with the objects in the MT5, as I don't use them on chart very often. But anyway, I hope this highlights the area. Okay, so this is the area where the shift basically happens. So prior to this area, the red moving average is below the blue moving average, and the golden moving average is also below the blue moving average. And here it basically starts to shift. So at this point, the red moving average goes above the blue moving average, and at this point, the golden moving average goes above the blue moving average, which basically tells us that there is a shift of the trend in the market. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's what's happening. And as you can see, this is a good indication, because as you can see, the price continues to go up and up and up. Okay, so this is basically how we trade it. So we wait for those two slower moving averages, or sorry, faster moving averages, to go either above or beyond the slow moving average. The next crossover happens here. So you can see that firstly the red moving average goes below, and then the gold moving average. So at this point, we basically get a sell signal, and as you can see, the price goes down. So this is exactly what we will code today. I think it will be better, or do you know what? In this tutorial, we will create custom indicator based on this, okay? And in the next tutorial, what I will do is that I will take this custom indicator with signals, and I will turn that into an expert advisor. So it's going to like include the creation of custom indicators and also creation of expert advisors, which might be even better. So let's do it. So I will go to my MT5 editor. And once again, sorry, this is also in Czech, so I will try to change that for the future videos. But for now, let's stick with this. And yeah, I'm an expert. So let's go to the indicators folder. Let's find my YouTube right here. Okay, it's not that populated, but that's not an issue. Let's right click on the YouTube folder and click on new file. So here, go for the custom indicator, which is basically the third option right here. Click on next, and here let's call it triple moving average indi, which stands for indicator. Yeah, something like this. So now let's discuss the parameters that we can add. So we basically need 3 parameters. Yeah, that's the minimum. So let's go with 3 parameters for now. So let's go first MA period. Now I just can take this, copy it here, and just change. So this is going to be the third moving average period, and this is the second moving average period. All of them will be of type integer, because yeah, you can't have a decimal values as an input for the moving average period. And let's go for 14, 50, and 500, or let's go for 25. So, and click on next. Next, and yeah, so this is regarding the visualization. So we want to add 3 different lines, so each of those lines will indicate or will be used for each of those moving averages. So let's go MA1, so moving average 1. This is moving average 2 and moving average 3. So let's go for the color. We can stick with orange red. The second one, let's go for gold, and the third one, let's go for something like this, turquoise. Turquoise, I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, let's click on finish, and this is our initial script. So yeah, the indicator itself will be pretty simple. Okay, so let's start. So firstly, let's do our typical on calculate for loop. Yeah, so I'll just delete these comments as we don't need them because we understand what they mean. Yeah, I will also delete this. And let's go for the for loop. So static integer I, and let's equal this to the third moving average period, because it's going to be the highest moving average period. Okay, so let's go for that. And yeah, let's do the for loop. So for I is lower than arrays total and I plus plus. So this variable I increases with each iteration, which makes sense, and we already know that. So this is our basically main for loop in which we do all of our calculations. So firstly, we have to calculate for historical values of the moving averages, and then we can move forward. So what to do now? So there are 3 different ways of how we can calculate the moving averages. So the first way how to calculate the moving averages is to use built-in indicators. Okay, so we can use built-in moving average indicator from MT5 and basically get values from that. I hope I said it correctly. So that's a very simple way. So we can do that. So let's call it first handle, second handle, and third handle. Okay, so these are our handles that are used for getting those built-in indicators, or even custom indicators, but in this case it's a built-in indicator. So first handle is equal to I moving average for the current symbol, current period. Moving average period will be equal to the first moving average period, which is right here. And then moving average shift is 0. Mode, let's go for simple moving average, and price close. So now we can do this, copy it here, and let's just change second handle, third handle, and here second moving average period and third moving average period. So this is all we need to do. Yeah. So right here on our global scope, we will create an array basically. So it's going to have type double, because it will be used for storing moving average values, which are decimal. Okay, so that's why double. And let's call it temporary array. Okay, so this array will be only used for temporarily storing moving average values. And let's move here, and let's create one more local variable called shift, okay, which will be equal to arrays total minus I. So this is our shift that will be used as a shift for our next function, which is copy buffer function. So copy buffer function basically allows us to get indicator values at a certain time, let's say, and we can store those values into an array of our choosing. In this case, it's our temporary array, which we created right here. So firstly, it needs handle. So let's go for first handle. Buffer number for moving averages, it's 0, because it doesn't have any other buffers. Starting position will be equal to shift, and we want one value, and we will store this into a double array, which is temporary array. Yeah, and right after this copy buffer function, we will do MA1 buffer at position I is equal to temporary array at position 0. So by doing this, we basically get the value at a certain position for the moving average, for the first moving average, because we are using the first handle, yeah? And then we are storing this value for the first moving average at a certain time to the moving average 1 buffer array, which is basically used for visualization. So now we are just how to say it? Now we are just putting the moving average on our chart with this. we will do the same thing, but now for the second moving average, so second handle, and here we just change the number, and here the same thing, third handle. So this should be okay. So let's go to my MT5 and let's test it. So let's open a new chart, Euro USD. Let's go indicators, YouTube. Okay, and now how is it called? Triple moving average indicator. Let's click on OK, and as you can see, we get this right here. And let's just change this to 25, and otherwise these should be the same. And as you can see, if we like put these next to each other, they are exactly the same. Okay, so we have successfully added these three moving averages to our chart. So now what we can do, for example, we can change these periods. So 150, let's go 75 and something like 6, okay? And we click OK on confirm or OK or apply, and the chart changes, or the moving averages change based on the periods we enter. So this is just basic stuff and it's very easy. So now what we want to do is we want to generate signals, okay? Because in the next video, what we will do is that we will use this indicator as a source of our signals for our for our expert advisor. So now what we want to do is we want to spot these changes, okay? And spot these changes, and when there is a change, okay, so by change we mean that those two fast moving averages are both of them either above or beyond this highest moving average, yeah, so this is our change, and we want to spot these changes and display them on our chart, and also save them into our signal array, which will be used as a source for our for our expert advisor. So I hope this makes sense. If not, just keep watching, and yeah, you will see for yourself that this is also very simple stuff. Okay, so for this we will need one more array buffer. Okay, so let's call it double signal. Okay, so in this we will store our signals, and let's just add it here. Like, I think we don't have to, but we can, and if we can, why not? So signal, and it will be draw none, because it's just a source of our signals, or it's an array in which we store our signals, so we don't have to plot anything out. So now this might get a little bit tricky, and the reason is very simple. So when you are dealing with the crossover of two moving averages, so let's just imagine that now we are not using triple moving average, but just two moving averages, and we want to spot crossovers. Then it's very simple, because the only thing we need to do is that we have to check, like, we have to spot something like this, which is very simple, because we can check the moving average at two different consecutive times. Okay, so let's call this time 1 and time 0, and we basically check if red moving average at time 1 is above this yellow moving average at time 1, and moving average, this red moving average at time 0 is below the yellow moving average at time 0, we have our shift. Okay, so this is very simple, but with triple moving average, it's not that simple, and the reason is that the shift basically never happens at the same time. So for example, in this case, we can see that the shift for our for these two moving averages happen at this time, but the second shift for these two moving averages happens at this time. Therefore, our overall shift happens at this time. Okay, so that's basically what we need to capture here. So yeah, I guess let's do it. Let's do it. So just 1 second, because now okay, just 1 second. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So yeah. So what we will do is that because maybe I am making this a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Because if we think about it, we are only interested, like from this we can see that the shift always, or that the final shift always happens with this one, with this slower moving average, okay? So we can see that always the fastest moving average goes as first, okay? So this crossover is always first and this is always second. And since we are only interested in the second shift, then what we can do is that we can simply just look for this crossover, and when this crossover happens, we just have to check the position of this fast moving average, right? Because if this crossover happens and this moving average is above the blue moving average, that means that their crossover happened before, prior to that. We don't know when, but we know that it happened, and that's enough for us. And the only time that the crossover is not legit, basically, is when, for example, in this case, there is this crossover to the upside, but the fast moving average is still below the blue moving average. And for that, we don't need to know when the crossover for the fast moving average happened. We just need to know the position of the fast moving average. So that's very simple, and let's do it. So if, and let's say MA2 buffer at position I, so this is our current position, is above MA3 buffer at position I, and MA2 buffer at position I minus 1. So now we are basically checking the prior position of those two moving averages is below the moving average 3 buffer I minus 1. So this is our, basically, this is our crossover. So let's put it into these brackets. And moving average 1 buffer. So this is our current, this is our fastest moving average at the current bar, is above the MA third buffer. Okay, so now you are just checking the position of the fastest moving average. So if this is all true, then we have crossover. Okay, so it goes. So it shifts from being below to being above. So now we will just copy this, paste it here, and we will check the downside crossover, which is basically the same. We just change these signs. Okay, so we have down crossover. And now it's very simple. What we will do is that we will say signal position I is equal to, let's go for 1 for up crossover, minus 1 for down crossover. And I just forgot one thing here. Let's add this to the set index buffer. So 3 signal, and this should be okay. So now if I just run this, this is my other strategy, but we can check it from here. So if you go here, let's just refresh it. Let's open data window. Does it refresh? No, it does not refresh. So one more time. Let's open this here. YouTube, triple moving average indicator. Okay, why isn't it visible right here? Okay, let's think about... Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so now we can see the signal. And also I will set the signal by default to 0. Okay, so 0 means that there's no signal. Yeah, and here we can see it. So signal is still 0, and at this point, signal is 1, as you can see. Okay, and then it's 0. And if we check this, this is correct because the moving average shift for the faster moving average happened here, and then for the slower moving average happened here. So yeah, that's that. We can also visualize this. Okay, let's visualize this. So let's create a function and let's call it create arrow. Okay, it will need double price, time, color, and integer type. Okay, so up or down, and the rest is pretty simple. We will also define static string prefix, which will be equal to something like triple MA. And now let's create this function. So firstly, let's determine our, and one more, which is integer I. Let's create our name. So string name of that object will be prefix plus I. This should be enough. And then let's create the object. So object creates 0 name object arrow 0 time price. Now we have to set the type of object or of the arrow. So name object prop type, I guess. And now if type is equal to 1, which is by, so 133, otherwise 134. I hope I have these codes correct, or I have these codes right. If not, we will see it very soon. And then object set integer 0 name object prop color. And let's do the same thing here. So type equals 1. If that is, sorry, forgot this right here. If this is the case, then we will give it color green, otherwise color maroon. And this should be enough. So yeah, let's do this. So create arrow price. So this is going to be down crossover. So we want to use high I, time I, color maroon. Oh, I don't have to do this. I just have to say color here. Yeah, because we specify the color as an argument. So type -1 integer I. So this should be okay. And let's do the same thing for up crossover. So low and color green and 1. And also what we will do is that on init we will call this objects delete all with the prefix. So this should be all right. Now let's check if something will happen or not. So I think the easiest way is just to backtest this, because if we backtest this and we have any issues or any errors, it will show us where and what the error is. So triple moving average indicator, and let's go. So yeah, we have the signals here. They are just not that visible. And I think I messed. Okay, so those signals are really not that visible, but let's change that. So I won't do this thing. I will just do something like this. If type is equal to 1, then object arrow up, otherwise object arrow down. And this should do the trick. So let's start this again and let's check it. There are no errors. And maybe what we should do is that we should change the price where we plot the object. So instead of high, let's go for MA3 buffer. So it will basically display the object on the slowest moving average, which should be okay. Let's try one more time. Yeah, and now it happens. So this is pretty good. Yeah, so we get these signals at the right time, which is really good. So yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, so let me just check how long this video already is. 31 minutes. So I guess this is enough for this video, and in the next one we will create an indicator, expert advisor based on this indicator. So yeah, let me just check the indicator. Okay. Yeah, and this is the perfect example that I was looking for. Okay, so this is probably not that visible on your screen, let's say, but most of all of these signals basically are triggered with the crossover of that second and third moving average. But for example, in this case, if you can see it properly, the trigger comes with the fast moving average going below the slowest moving average. And as this is the last crossover, the crossover doesn't happen at this point, but at that point. So this is a good thing that we can see something like this. Okay, anyway. Oh no. We have it doesn't work correctly because my initial idea of the if else statement for catching these signals was not correct, as we can see right here, because in this case, yeah, in this case something like this happens. So let's update this code. So I will just copy this right here, paste it here, and now the only thing we just need to do is that we just need to change these arrays, yeah, and when we do this, this should work correctly now. So let's check it. So this should work correctly, and it seems like it does work correctly. I just want to find one instance of the slowing moving average being basically fast or slower than the, yeah, this is the example that I was looking for. So yeah, this is it. So here you can see that the slow moving average basically gives you the crossover after the second moving average. So this is why we updated the code just now. So yeah, the code looks solid, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.